Welcome into Sports Idiot Nation. Today is June 2nd, and we will tell you why a couple of teenagers are already living a life better than yours. Also, not only how the East was won, but why it was fun. And it's time to talk about Aaron Rodgers again, because this time we think we know where he's going.
Sports, Rockies, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. And you ever wonder what happened to those kids that were picked last at recess? They grew up to be Colorado Rockies.
This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome in. It is Monday, so that means it is time for one of your weekly doses of Sports Idiot Nation. It is I, Adam Reno, joined by a miles behind enemy lines. Sports Idiot Nation is the weekly recap show that comes to you not once but twice every Monday and Thursday. Follow us wherever you get your social media. Of course, catch the episodes on Spotify, Apple. The most fun way to watch, of course, is on YouTube. Got lots to talk about. Let's get into it, Miles. So the first thing that I thought was funny this week as I was watching the NBA playoffs. So I have YouTube TV. It is fantastic. If we could get them as a sponsor, if you are watching YouTube TV, I will dedicate my life to you. I will do anything for you. I will.
Well, we're on YouTube. They should be watching.
I mean,
there aren't that many selections.
That's fair. So anyway, on YouTube TV, it's giving me suggestions. It's almost like it knows me, except, yeah, I don't think it knows me. It literally said, oh, the Indiana Fever are playing. I'm like, who cares? If Caitlin Clark is injured, like, I figure it's like, is the algorithm broken along with her hamstring? Like, I don't understand. Like, like, what is happening? It's just hilarious that YouTube TV thinks that I'm going to watch a WNBA game when the Kobe Bryant of the WNBA is injured. I have no interest in watching it, but that's cute, YouTube TV. It's cute that you did that.
So I brought my balls onto the set, and I set up a hoop for my 11-month-old daughter because I thought I'd prefer to watch her throw balls through a hoop.
Yeah.
And in reality, she makes about a third of the shot. Now, again, I like hold her and force her to put the ball in the hoop, and she's still shooting about 33%, which is 2 percentage points better than a Angel Reese is shooting on the season.
Yeah, that's
the extent of I care about watching the WNBA on YouTube TV, or without Caitlin Clark.
And scene. That's all.
This
that's all we need
concludes
for
our WNBA segment of this week's show.
Yeah, our viral moment. This concludes. Thank you for watching. All right, so
I'll see you there. I'll see you on another time.
I'll see you another time. Let's shift to the Ocho. No, let's shift to the men. And what I want to talk through right now is Ant, because Paul Rudd is a better Ant-Man than than the one that plays for the Timberwolves, I feel like.
And what's the one who said that line? I'll see you there. I'll see you on another time.
full circle, if you will.
Ant-Man, for Ant-Man, when it comes to the playoffs, I'll either see you in the finals or I'll see you on another time. It'll be on another time next season.
So, in the first half of that clinching game, the Minnesota Timberwolves had more turnovers than field goals. I'm going to say that just one more time. The Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals, in a clinching game, they had more turnovers. Yes, then your daughter.
I'm just going to keep throwing balls.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep throwing balls. I'm out now. And so is Minnesota.
I don't know what to do with
underwear on my head for you guys.
Yeah.
I am out. I am all out. I wore underwear for you, and you threw it back in my face.
He's all hands, folks.
Dirty. This is the whole thing Minnesota time and time again says, and I get half their rosters now in New York, who's also expired, said, man, we've been through it. We went through it last year. We went through it the year before. And guess what? You're going to go through it next year. And you're going to go through it again the year after that. And probably the year after that. And then the year after that, you're not going to be in the postseason anymore because your core is going to be rotted. This is what we know and have seen from the Minnesota Timberwolves. They get hot in the postseason early when they're not a top seed. When they're a top seed, they spiral out of control early. But when they actually cause a little hope and belief and faith in us, they're the same thing over and over. They're a broken record. And it's going to be the same thing because they just don't have that it factor. And sorry, Ant-Man ain't it. So many folks want him to be the face of the league. He ain't it. Sorry, the SGA. He's Canadian, but he's better.
Well, an Ant doesn't want to be the face, which is
There you
okay. Neither does Tatum. Like, there are guys that just want to play basketball and do it at a high level. And are there some holes in their game a little bit? But I just was not impressed with the moments that came down to it where you need Ant-Man to be, if you're going to have a nickname, you have to turn into that guy. And he didn't turn into it. He was just a regular dude out there.
The Ant-Man kind of disappears in the movie, though, and that's
small.
what he did.
Yeah,
the Ant, he goes too small. He's too small for the moment. And I get he may not want to be the biggest, brightest Hollywood superstar. That's fine. You're already in Minnesota. So you're already avoiding that by being in a cold market. It's a decent-sized market, sure, but you're not LA, New York, Chicago, Dallas at all. Still have to and you said something, Adam. You said, he wants to play a high level of basketball. The issue is he has not shown that he wants to play at the highest level of basketball. And there's a difference between that and wanting to be the face of the league. That's fine. He wants to go out, pick up his 30 and 12 and 8 and move on. That's fine. But he's going to be in Cabo the first week of June instead of in the finals, playing in Boston or at home in Minnesota or against Indiana, so on and so forth. There's got to be a mental change for him. I think we're getting confused with, man, the guy just wants to shut up and play ball. But I don't know what his actual mentality is because it's not shown right now that he is an elite stud. Yeah. He can shut up and play ball all he wants, but guess what? There's 100 other guys in the league that can do that too. Is he going to do it on the highest level? Remains to be seen. I don't think he can do so, at least in Minnesota. I think he needs actually another guy around him that can take the weight off his shoulders. And we saw it with Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, the guy stepped forward thinking he was going to get Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and then they gave it to Pascal. And that's fine. I mean, Pascal, every other game about popped off for like 30 and 15. But Ant-Man needs that, and he may have lost that in Cat. I don't know if Cat would have provided that because we've seen what he does in the postseason with Cat, and it wasn't enough, but they were even younger. Now it looks like Oklahoma City's passed him up. And look, we've got a Western Conference now where you can honestly have 12 to 13 teams next year out of the 15 teams of the West that are going to, quote unquote, go for it. And we don't know what's going to happen with Giannis, if he's going to come out west.
KD,
obviously, you're going to have a guy like, well, and even beyond that, like, look, those old guys are moving up and out and on. We've talked about that previously. But look, you're going to have young talent like Cooper Flagg coming out in the West. Obviously, you got Chet Holmgren with Oklahoma City. All this other young talent in the Western Conference, and then you still have the Denver Nuggets that are an issue. The Clippers are still relevant. We know that they aren't a true contender, but they're still relevant. They're a roadblock in at least the first round because Minnesota either loses in the first or second round, it seems.
Houston,
if not,
see what Houston
of course,
does.
The Western Conference. And Houston's only going to build. And Houston's only going to continue to build. And I think the three teams in Texas, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm a new homer, but I'm a transplant. It's just the honest truth. The Texas teams are going to be a problem probably for a while. And then Minnesota, where do you fall in? Well, if it ain't number one, it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And any of those positions ain't good enough to make you an elite player that Ant-Man supposedly is. But if he doesn't want to be the face of the league, whatever, but where he's at right now, it ain't getting it done.
And all that, and we didn't even mention the Lakers, which I'm proud of that we didn't, but they are seriously to be noted as far as let's see what they do.
Exist. Yeah.
Yeah, they exist,
Yeah.
and they do have some guys that put the ball in the hoop.
Yep.
And
And LeBron ain't lasting forever. He might last another 5 seasons, but I don't even know that LeBron ends up in LA for the next 5 years. I don't know that. You still have Luca, whatever. It's still LA. They're still going to find a way to get pieces around Luca. So that's fine.
yes,
But
that's my
that's
point.
not at the top of my list, along with the likes of Oklahoma City, Houston,
Right.
and then everyone else down to like Sacramento and
Even Golden State
whoever else you
is
want to
not,
throw in there. Golden State's going to
yeah,
stay relevant,
yeah, relevant, but not.
teetering. Hey, the
So-
Phoenix Suns, what the hell? They're there too.
Oh, there you go. That's all 15 teams now, pretty much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, all right, last question on Ant, because here's our opportunity to let him off the hook. I want to ask you, is this a Chicago Bears type of defense? Is this something that we really need to talk through? Or is this like, no, they're just really good. They're still young. It's wait and see. Because if they're that good, then you do give a small percentage points back to Ant and say, okay, look, he faced, this wasn't Golden State defense. This wasn't Denver defense. It was OKC. This was a legitimate defense.
I think we have to wait and see because Oklahoma City has also shown flashes the other way. Oklahoma City has shown that they can give up 130 a game.
Yeah.
And they had in this series and they had in the playoffs before. They're still a good enough team that they can win a championship. But I don't even know that if they win the NBA Finals and lock down the Pacers this series, if you can really say it. Because, look, I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and say it. There's an asterisk on the Eastern Conference this year. Because until you get a full-strength Boston team back, I'm not going to totally buy that Oklahoma City was all that this season. They're not a team. This 2024-25 Oklahoma City team is not a team that we're going to be talking about 15, 20 years from now. We're just not. Now, if they come back next year and the year after that, and they're still either in the finals or, God forbid, going for a three-peat in a couple seasons from now, riding the backs of the lockdown defense, no question about it. I'll eat my words, but they ain't no bad boys until then.
Yeah. And if egos don't play a part, because these guys right now are the egoless wonder, like right now. But that can change because winning, all of a sudden, a guy on a winning team says, well, wait a minute, that was because of me. Like, wait a minute, that was, so I should get, okay, let's put up the shots now. How many? Let's see what her shooting percentage can be.
Let me get the balls back here. Let's see if I can get the balls. Get the balls here. Let's throw.
There you go.
No, she's a little too distracted. All right, let's go. Ready, hoop. Ready, hoop.
Oh, same
And
percentage.
she fell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Angel
Reese.
Yeah.
Angel Reese.
So, yeah, I just think if the egos do not play a part, then maybe the Thunder can really build and grow. Well, and it is a wait and see. I agree. Okay, so yes, we know who the who's coming out now of the East. Halliburton's dad. It was cool to see him like acting a fool, but way up top.
Yeah.
You know,
like, for those that don't know anything about Pacers history, which is about 90% of basketball fans, you would have thought, oh, who's this Pacer all-timer up here? Like he must have been the face of the franchise back when they're in the ABA.
Right. Like, was that the guy who played alongside Mark Jackson or the Davis Boys?
It's
Who
Coffee
is that?
Black.
Like, it's
Coffee Black.
Can't you see I'm talking white? Great movie. Okay, so it is weird that a guy can score all those points, be the leader of the team, be the all-star, be on the Olympics, have a triple-double, step forward, kind of. Like, you could see the video where he's in the background. He hears what they're about to do, give the trophy, so he kind of brushes, makes his way up to the front, all that to hear, oh, it's not Jason Tatum, it's Jaylen Brown. It's like one of those situations, like, wait a minute, oh, okay? Like, and again, it's not a hate on Siakam. It's not. Like, I like watching him play. Like, if he was with the Warriors, I would be stoked. Him and Draymond together, like, man, come on. I know he only missed it by 1 vote, but it just didn't seem right. I mean, what did you think?
No, I go back and forth on this, but I feel like at the end of the day, that they fall where they fall. And I think it's something that they're trying to just make a bigger story out of and kind of really take away from everything that's happened just really this year. And they might be just trying to fan the flames, but at the end of the day, like Oklahoma City and Indiana, I mean, that's kind of another part that comes into it. It's like, man, we got, they're probably going to make it more now because it's like we got 2 small market teams playing in the finals. But at the end of the day, like, give it up to SGA. Halliburton probably next year is going to be in contention for MVP. And again, mountains out of molehills, move forward.
Yeah.
Halliburton, I think the bigger story now is like trying to throw shade between Perkins and Stephen A. Talking about Halliburton, he ain't a superstar, and that's fine. You want to say that, being biased towards the Knicks, and this was before the series was over. But it's like,
Yeah,
my man, like the dude's a superstar, and guess what? So is SGA. And the MVP is going to be up in the air for years to come, but the league is really good right now. And that's fine that there's a lot of really good young talent. It's better for the league, especially going over to NBC. We're losing TNT. It sucks. But again, I think all of this, they're trying to push a number of narratives. They're trying to make controversy where it really just isn't at.
So one thing you mentioned I want to touch on, did you see Shaq's final piece with TNT?
I missed it. Fill us in, man.
All right. So he is thanking everyone at TNT. He's letting the other network know we're coming, and you know what? I'm just going to say it because this is our last. And he mother F's everything. Wait, like, dude, you're still on TV. Like, we'll see what if there'll be like real backlash. Now, I know technically it after a certain point with radio and television, you technically can get away with some cussing past, like, what is it, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m.?
Well, no, but you're
What is
talking
that?
about like the broadcast
FCC.
channel. It's TNT. On cable channels, they can do it 24/7. There are no laws against cable channels doing it. They just don't do it because it's bad TV. And you're going to overall lose viewership. But had this been NBC, ABC, or CBS, there would have been an issue.
Maybe that's why he did it, knowing that he's going to ABC / ESPN / _ Disney.
Hulu Plus.
Yeah. So it was just like, the guys just were like, oh, Shaq, like, on the set. Like, it was just funny. But, man, it is an end of an era with TNT. I know the guys are still going to be together, and there'll be parts of the show that will be very much the same, but it'll just be different. It'll have a different vibe. And yes, we're excited for the NBA on NBC because you and I grew up in the sport where it's the NBA on NBC and John Tesh, that's well documented, all that stuff. But it was just funny to see, them end that way. And a lot of the crew is even coming on, to ABC / ESPN, I heard. So a lot of it will be the same. But
R.I.P. Allie LaForce, we will miss you dearly.
Yeah. As we miss, like Craig Sager. Craig Sager's suits. That's what I still miss. And his interviews with Pop. Interviews with Pop. Oh my gosh, they were horrendous, and Pop would just give it to him.
Those are good. That was good TV.
So
shout out to our episode on Pop off, boy.
Yeah, that was a good episode. So let's put a bow on the Knicks once and for all, and the Game 7 hats. Did you see that were made up? They're going to go back
and
to
sent
Africa.
overseas now. Yep. So actually, now that you bring that up, and to completely derail, and I know this is to your chagrin, but there was a YouTuber who found in Mongolia a 13-year-old boy wearing a San Francisco 49ers. What was that, 2 Super Bowls ago? It would have been Super Bowl 58 champions hat. So now we're gonna go to Somalia or Somaliland. Either one's fine.
Yeah.
And see if we can find Game 7 here. And who makes a hat for Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals? Are you serious, man?
Yeah, I get Game 7's a big deal, but New York, act like
For
you've
the
been there
Eastern Conference Final?
before, or a little
Well, it's
bit, or
been 25 years.
but act like it. I don't know. But again,
It makes me
follow.
think Reggie Miller, like talking about it, he's like, man, back when we clinched 25 years ago, it was in New York, and like acting like it was just like 2 seasons ago. It's like
Right.
Pacers Knicks, your rivalry, it's great. It was renewed for one season, while Boston and the other likes Milwaukee won't be back. But those other teams that have been there in the last decade and just either were down or are now out. Man, Knicks, Pacers, it was cute for one season. You renewed your rivalry, but it ain't coming back long term. That's history.
So let's talk about that. Are the Knicks here to stay? As far as Boston has to figure out what they're going to do a whole season because Tatum got injured at the worst point. If you're going to get injured, I mean, he's out pretty much the whole year. So that's a totally different team. You think of, are they going to bring back Porzingis? Is what's his name? The big center from Florida, the who won a championship with Joakim Noah. What is his name?
Al Horford?
Yes. Okay. He's probably retiring. Is he going to come back?
Al Horford ain't no center, man. He's a power forward.
Okay, so him, Porzingis, are they coming back? No Tatum. Boston is still Boston, but I mean, sheesh, like that's way different team now.
Jaylen Brown, is he part of a package to get Giannis?
Man,
that's the wild card, I think, right now for Giannis is Boston. Neither here nor there right now, but I think Boston they'll be fine. Here's the thing in the East that we're seeing this year: just make the top 6, and you'll be in contention. I mean, hell, the West was very much similar this year. Oklahoma City got it done, but as long as you get in the playoff right now, in the top 6, you're going to be okay. I think Boston will be okay as long as they don't get more hurt. And then I think Cleveland's going to be just fine next year. Because Cleveland was another team that got banged up. If Cleveland's at full strength, that's a totally different series against Indiana.
Yeah. It's funny to think about. We talked about the West, and you brought up for half a second Sacramento as a team that's at least in the West. And you look at what they've done. They had De'Aaron Fox. They had Halliburton, and they Sabonis, all this deal, they couldn't coexist, and now like they don't have anybody.
No, and I mean, hell, even splashing Buddy Hield, who could shoot the ball. They had opportunities in Sacramento to be relevant, and they sold the farm. Kind of like, hell, I am going to bring it up with SGA. You remember who SGA got drafted by?
The Clippers.
No. That's who he started with. On draft night, he got traded to the Clippers.
Oh.
Guess who? The Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets, infamous for trading future studs and stars to LA teams.
Well,
we've talked about the Hornets trading players to LA.
Gosh.
SGA is another one.
That is wild.
And it ain't just Kobe, obviously the whole thing with AD and with Chris Paul as well, even after they moved to New Orleans. Hornets, stop trading your best players to LA teams. And then, of course, the Clippers going to blow that and trade SGA off. But back to your point, yes, the Clippers going to clip. The Kings going to, be dethroned.
And the
Hornets are going to.
The Sacramento Queens, as Jack calls them.
Yeah, and then the Queen Hornets going to get killed off.
So, speaking of killed off, I was not killed off in Detroit. I made it safe. The Giants did not make it out safe. They got the brooms out, and it was not good. I did get a chance to see Heliot Ramos, our stud, hit a ball that is still going into the night of Detroit. That ball was hit very hard. The only home run of the game. That was fun. Just to catch a baseball game in the middle of the season and hang out with family and friends. My cousin's birthday, it was just cool. But no Detroit fan came up to me and said anything about a sweep because they knew that if they did, I would have something for them. Like, would you rather sweep a team in the regular season in May or maybe the World Series?
October, November.
So they were very nice.
I'm pretty sure I'll take a sweep when it matters more.
Yeah. So they're pretty nice.
They remember
to us.
that.
Yeah.
I know many a Tigers fan, and I worked with Tigers fans when that series was going on back. Was that 2012? Was that 2010 or 2012? It was 2012. And what a boring series, but you liked that very much. It was a boring season because, well, Detroit didn't show. Oh, we didn't show this week in San Francisco. Yeah, all right. You'll live. No one will remember that. A year from now, hell, next week, no one will remember that you got swept by the Tigers.
Yeah.
15 years on, pretty sure Detroit remembers.
And on this road trip, the Giants did come back and win both series. They won yesterday against the Marlins to take that series. So they had more than 3 wins in the last week. Speaking of more than 3 wins in the last week, your Colorado Rockies, checking in, had more than 3 wins for the month. They had 4. However, in our tracker for the week, they remain at a goose egg. In our tracker,
I'm pretty sure, Adam, I'm pretty sure you said they were going to win one this last week. Let's roll the tape back.
Yeah.
Yep. Adam said they had one.
Yeah,
Didn't happen. However, guess who did have a win this last weekend? Scotty Scheffler. Outdoing the Colorado Rockies. Let's check back at the calendar for the month of May. Colorado Rockies 4, Scotty Scheffler 3.
Those aren't good odds. Those aren't good numbers. That's not what you want to see. So
Golfer
MLB record
wins almost as many tournaments.
So here's my job on Sports Edit Nation. A reminder: be sure to check out Sports Edit Nation wherever you get your social media. But my job on Sports Edit Nation is to come up with obscure stats for the Colorado Rockies the rest of the way, and I started with this one: 22 in a row of, in baseball, you play the team, but it's a series. You always play 2, 3, or 4 games. They have lost 22 series in a row, which is good enough to be a major league record.
Oh my God. And even in the series where you do have some where 4-game sets, you can just split 2 and 2 and it would break that streak. You don't even have to win a series necessarily.
Yeah, you have to win 2 games in a week in order to do that, and they shan't.
They can't do that. They cannot. But again, hey, 4 wins in a month, that's good for the Colorado Rockies of the NFL.
Out of 26 games. I get that there's only 31 days in a year. You play 26 times, that is a lot. Year? And you win 4
in a month.
Now, on the other side of it, the best team in baseball that, yes, we got swept by, Detroit, they only have 21 losses. That is the most bizarre stat that you may see, that a team has 21 losses, and then on the other side of that, a team only has 9 wins.
I thought it was the law anytime we talk about the Tigers and the Rockies at the same time, they both have to be bad.
Right. It's crazy. Detroit, it's not even close. They're not the best team in baseball by 1 or 2. They have the most wins, and the next best team has like 3 below them. I mean, it is crazy. So I'll say this. I was talking to my cousin.
They're here to stay, man.
I was talking to my cousin who went to the game, and he didn't realize they were that good, and we're talking about it later. And he said, wait, so you're telling me that not just the American League, but in all of baseball, the best team in baseball right now is the Detroit Tigers? And I said, yeah, man. And he goes,
that's a fair statement.
Yeah, and he goes, I gotta tell you, I didn't see that. And he's not ripping them. He's just like, we're just talking,
It's a matter of fact. Like is that legal? I thought this was like the Chicago White Sox light. Like we're not getting swept. Hey, we're not getting swept by the White Sox. We're getting swept by the best team in baseball.
Yeah,
it's still awkward feel. You go into Comerica and get swept. You still feel a little embarrassed historically.
Which the White Sox have doubled the wins of the Colorado Rockies. I believe they have 18, which is nutty.
So they only have 4 more wins to go to reach 2024's total?
That's wild. Yeah, and the Rockies are on pace to shatter by like 16 games. The most losses. I mean, they have to go on quite a tear in order to not break the record. They have to
they,
win
they have to
ones of
play
games.
like they, they have to play like 500 ball the rest of the way just to not be historically bad.
Right. And normally you'd say like, oh, they got to win hundreds of games. Like, oh, they have to win ones.
They have to average a half win a week to avoid catastrophe, and it's not looking good.
Yeah. Just, bad. All right. So baseball, let's end with, I will say it was a good weekend if you're a baseball fan. I know the Yankees lost the series, but just the World Series, renewed. It's Dodgers, Yankees. Yes, most people hate both. Of course, I do as a Giants fan. But I will say, when you got Aaron Judge hitting a home run, and then the first pitch to Shohei, the very first one, he booms it, and that both these guys are on pace to actually be better than what the previous season was. You're like, you just don't assume that. It's like, what are we watching? It is pretty crazy.
All that, and the Tigers are still the best team in baseball. This is really awkward.
Yeah,
I don't think either team's getting back to the World Series this year, man. I really don't. I really like what the Tigers are doing, and I think an NL East team is going to the promised land this season. But it's good for baseball. We hate them, but it's needed. And
yeah,
hey, when you have no salary cap, baby, just load it up. Just crank it up. And bring back the steroids. I've already mentioned this before. Bring back the steroids. Hey, there was more balance in the major leagues, I think, when the steroid era was popping. And then we tailed off, and then we had the Yankees win 3 straight World Series. Boring. Get rid of that. Bring back the roids.
I guess we just called the Yankees my daddy.
Tip your cap, baby.
That was the weirdest press conference ever. Pedro Martinez.
So, Pedro Martinez and who's old bald guy from the Yankees?
Don Zimmer.
Zimmer. So you have one Pedro Martinez versus 100 Don Zimmers. Who wins?
Yeah, and then how does that press conference go later? Like, I was Don Zimmer's daddies. So bad.
Bald dome. We could sneak in there though with our bald heads, so we give them a fight.
Two teenagers with a full head of hair that are living their best lives. We love watching the obscure, like on the Ocho, like, oh, the spelling bee and all these like weird things. Like, you just kind of get into it, and especially when the kids like, they do well and then like they fall down or they pass out or something. Like, it's just it's like,
I think get up and spell a word, right? ECLAIRECISSEMENT.
Here's what I love about Faizan Zaki. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but he is from.
It doesn't matter.
From Tejas. I love that the final word that he got. I'm not going to even try and spell it. It's not.
I believe it was a French word, ass bite. Pardon my French.
What I love is he didn't ask I get that, like, you study before. There's books that you can get where it's just a bunch of words, the origins, all this stuff, and you can like study up if you're going to be in the spelling bee. I kind of love that he got a word that he had studied. There's no question that he had seen it because he didn't ask for like, can you repeat it? The origin. His eyebrows go up when he's presented the word. He's like, yeah, I just won. Like, he knew it. He says it,
bitch.
And that was just, it's kind of funny. Like, who had a better week than that kid,
Right. Well, I think my wife going over to the Allen Premium Outlets, right about 20 minutes down the road from me. So this kid lives just about 2 towns over. I had to rock my Plano shirt because they're their rivals in Allen. Fun fact about Allen, it's one of the largest high schools in the country. Dominant in high school football, obviously dominant in spelling at the middle school level as well. Their student enrollment, you want to take a guess what the student enrollment of Allen High School is? So keep in mind, like, what's your high school that you went to? parochial school.
What's their enrollment? Like,
Yeah.
When I went, it was just under 1,000. Right now, I think it sits at about 600. As this weekend was graduation
600.
for shout out to everyone.
Parochial school, fair. There you go to your cadets. Then a public school in there, decent size, 1,800, 2,000,
Triple.
right?
Yeah, triple that. Yeah,
triple. Okay. All right, more than triple, Alan. 7,000 students at one goddamn high school. Now, this kid, I would assume, is not going to go there. He's going. It's too many. So we joke because I worked with a guy before I moved down to Texas. He's from the area, and we talked about it. And we were joking because he grew up in a town over, went to a rival high school, repping his school right now, Plano West. And we said to him, so when you went to graduation, you sit alphabetically. Obviously, you don't have classes that way. He's like, so you look to your left, you look to your right. What are the odds you know neither of them? He's like, very good. You go to your graduation, you see faces you have never seen before in your life. That is insane to think.
Yeah.
4 years. 4 years of high school. I'm not talking college.
Yeah.
It's like my graduating class at Indiana was maybe just a little bit bigger than a graduating class at Allen High School.
So what's funny is the high school I went to, it wasn't a question that we knew everyone we graduated with. Duh, we did. I still know, today, freshmen, when I was a senior, you're like, oh, John Smith. Oh, yeah, he had earth science second period, didn't he? Wasn't he quarterback on the freshman football team? Yeah, he was. How did you know that? Well, I just saw him all the time. I wasn't his friend or anything. That's crazy. The whole school knew each other.
Yeah, against our rival Wayne, he was like 14 to 22, had 138 passing yards.
Yeah,
threw a pick, but yeah, 2 tutties.
Yeah, of course he threw a pick. It's Concordia. So yeah, that's crazy. That is it's too big. It's too big. It's too big.
It's too big. But this kid, I'm sure, because he's still in middle school, I'm sure will avoid it and go to one of the many Frisco academies that are the elite of the elite. I mean, it makes Carmel look like a second world country. I can't say third world because it's still Carmel, but he ain't going to no public high school in the DFW area. This kid is going to be probably with these schools down here. He'll be like probably 4th or 5th in his graduating class. Oh, he won a spelling bee. That's cute. You know, whatever. But yeah, 6 or 7 kids that get perfect scores on their ACT out of these academies in Frisco.
That's crazy. Another kid who might be able to say, I actually am doing even better than this kid is, so I don't know if we need to keep our eye on this or not, but Tiger Woods' son, this just in, is good. And I don't know, how's that going to work in the next 2-3 years? Does Tiger want this for him? Does he understands it? Does he want him to just start winning all these tournaments and just let him off the leash and just go? Or as a father, are you like, well, let's do this. How does that work?
Well, as long as he doesn't raise Charlie the same way his father raised him, he'll be better off, because he shouldn't be out, getting busy in a Winnebago while he's training his son how to putt and knock down 18-footers. Any case, he obviously has that dog. Charlie is showing in these tournaments already. If you haven't watched, he's a kid. He's a 16-year-old, just turned 16 recently. He is way too hard on himself. And when you live in the shadow of the arguably greatest golfer of all time, debates, whatever, Jack, yeah, whatever. We got Tiger for our generation. Greatest golfer of our generation. No doubt about that. And then Charlie has to live up to that. In his mind, he does. To Tiger, of course not. Go out and play. But he has the DNA. He has the drive to win, and he is a winner. It's going to be hard because of all that pressure. And it may not even be something that the media forces. I have no doubt they will, but the internal pressure to have to, in the next 5 years, win a Masters in his mind, it's going to be very tough. But I think Tiger, from an outside perspective, seems to be handling it pretty well. I mean, his son's had success at both the high school level and on the junior pro-am level. So I think he's going to let Charlie do what he needs to do from his perspective, and I think he's going to just try to pull back the reins so he doesn't burn out early, at least mentally, because he's going to be harder on himself than his father is going to be on. He's probably going to be harder on himself than the media is even on it. And there's added scrutiny to it because it's not just about the golf game. It's, oh, Charlie, he's starting to win. His ego's starting to grow. He's starting to get on the PGA Tour. And if he collects a couple wins there, okay, now what's going on in his personal life? And people are going to dig because they've seen what his father did when his father had that squeaky clean image for over a decade.
Right. Well,
And it's going to be added pressure.
Came crashing down.
Added pressure. So to me, it's only going to be up to Charlie what he does up here if he's going to have anywhere near the success of his father. It's not going to come from the media. It's not going to come from his dad. It's going to be all himself, and he.
Yeah. We'll see how it checks out. I mean, I like to see it. I definitely like to see, a legend. His kid is good. Oh, let's see what this is about. Like, you want to see it because I think of okay, Bobby Bonds. Bobby Bonds was not the Tiger Woods of his sport, but his son was. So that's not the same. So it's like, look at LeBron's sons and Michael Jordan's sons. They weren't at that level, but it does seem that there's it's not far-fetched to say that the legend of Tiger Woods and his son does seem like, okay, we have something here. It's not Jeffrey Jordan, So
no, and we'll see about Bryce. I called him Bryce King, Bryce King. Look, Bryce James. Yes. What he does at Arizona,
because he is pretty good. He honestly
he is the prince. The prince. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
So he's the one that's supposedly going to be on that level, but the narrative, because there's another son and all the media attention's been on Bronny. Right. The fact that Bryce is not going to be on that level, and what I mean, like media attention, he's flying a little bit under the radar.
A little.
Yeah. And he will, once he starts playing for Arizona, there's no question he's going to get more.
His first big dunk, it'll be all, I mean.
Yeah. Sure. But Bronny has sucked up, he's consumed, and, he was the pioneer, essentially the trailblazer that has helped alleviate some of this pressure off of Bryce.
No question.
Ain't the case for Charlie. Is not the case for Charlie. So we'll see how he ends up reacting to that. And we won't know for 5, maybe even 7, 8 years. But I think the only one that could touch is Bryce. But again, with having that brother as the guy who's kind of pushing everything out of the way, Charlie's got a lot more pressure than anyone I'll ever see, because again, anyone that knew that Bronny wasn't the elite one. It was always Bryce. Charlie, it's just him.
Yeah. I'm excited to see, because this is a legend, and then possibly the legend's kid is going to be that good. So again, we'll have to see.
Yeah. And no disrespect to the daughters, but it just doesn't. It doesn't demand the media attention that the sons do.
Right. Layla Ali, I think, was pretty good. Right.
Yeah. Well, and
in her own right.
Daughter.
And
his daughter's pretty good too, but it's just not the attention that Charlie demands.
Yeah. All right. So my eye is starting to twitch out a little bit because it's been over 40 minutes and we haven't talked about NFL. So to get my eyes right, let's.
Oh my God! It's June. It's football time.
It's almost. Yeah. So not a whole lot, going on, and that's okay. But I did see a fun interview with Aaron Rodgers where they were talking about Chicago, and Aaron totally played it the way that you would hope, because obviously if you dominate a city, you don't have anything negative to say. You love going there because you had a history of winning. So Aaron Rodgers wouldn't come out and say, "Oh, I hate Chicago." He freaking loves it. Because he owned them. It's hilarious. They're like, "Would you ever play in Chicago? Do you hate it?" And he's like, "Well, I would never probably be a Bear, but I love Chicago. I just don't think they love me so much." And he said, tongue in cheek, "Ha ha, I still own you." But what he hinted at was that there's an opponent that plays in Chicago, and we know that to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Pittsburgh has come out and said that it's just weird, this weird dating thing. It's like the homecoming queen and the guy that gets a note from her best friend that says, "Hey, she may want to date you." And then he puts out a Facebook status that says, well, I am willing to wait for her. That's basically what Pittsburgh came out and said. They're willing to wait a bit longer or a little while longer. What in the world does that mean? Like, it's so like
high school dating. It's check yes or no. Like
maybe
we have the George. Where you at, George? We need you. Check yes or no.
It's just
I think it's one of those that you again trying to get the media attention. We've talked about it ad nauseum now this episode. And hey, I think it's good. This is the time, especially for Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh's going to do what they're going to do, and they're not going to be in contention this year. So hell, why not? Why not own the media headlines for at least a month and a half? And Aaron Rodgers, he'll eat it up. I think he's at the point now where he knows he's probably not going to get the opportunity to play. So why not just drag it out as long as you can? I mean, I know he wants to play. There's no question about it. We make fun of Aaron Rodgers. Everyone makes fun of Aaron Rodgers.
He doesn't want to go out like that. He doesn't want to go out.
But he doesn't. But if he, at this point, he's like, I've got really no other choice. You might as well just let the flame burn a little bit longer and just try to own this headline and be as funny about it as possible. And then if it doesn't work out, just go into broadcasting like everyone else.
Right, right. I think he ends up a Steeler. I really, truly do. I think they've talked more than what they're letting on. They're both, as Pittsburgh as an organization, as Aaron Rodgers as a human, they're both like not over the radar types of situations. They're below it, and I just think they like it that way. And we don't like it because we need to know every second of every NFL player. But I think that's what's going to happen. It remains to be seen, but I think he'll end up a Steeler, to the chagrin of many Steeler fans. But I just think it's not Mason Rudolph.
We love it.
Yeah. That's not the guy. I mean, I just don't see it. But yeah, so we'll see. All right, so another thing I want to get into, you showed me this, and I didn't even have a chance to really dive in. I think it's fake, to be honest. There's a college baseball team that has gone completely undefeated. I don't understand. Like, that's a typo, right?
The antithesis of the Colorado Rockies. So it's LSUS. LSU Shreveport, which is a tiny, it's not even on the ocean either. You take I-20 over here from Dallas up to the northwest part of Louisiana at Shreveport. And they actually have a bowl game, the Independence Bowl. Believe it or not, it's played in Shreveport. In any case, they have an NAIA program, and their baseball team, they won a lot this year, and they lost almost as many games as the Rockies have won this year, not 9 less. They went 58-0, which in competitive college baseball history had never been done before. This team was batting like 320 as a team, and they were holding opponents to under 200. They had an insane amount of RBIs. They won like 15 games, that'd be more than 25% of their games by 8 runs or more. This is absolutely absurd. The team ERA was like 2. But even Oklahoma City lost games. You know, they're playing at the highest level. They're NAIA. But my whole thing is, when is Shreveport going to get the call up? And I'm not saying to the NCAA, like, where are they going to get the call up in the Rocky system? I think the Colorado Rockies should use their entire draft next year. Just draft these guys. Don't care that they played NAIA. You go 58-0 as a team.
Winners.
Your team is they're gelling. This team has gelled. Like, how if you're 9-50, you're going to be doing drawings by the end of the year. Section 13, row 12. Seat 8A, you have been selected to sign a 10-day contract with the Rockies.
Yeah.
Why the hell not? Just draft it's a great gimmick. Their farm system sucks anyways. We got to draft well to make it better. It's the MLB. They say the draft matters more now. Whatever. There's like 50-something rounds in the MLB draft. Just draft the entire team. And then just trade the rest of your organization. Hell, just sell the team or move the team. No one will notice. No one will care. Not even Denver fans. So just move on. Move them out. Move them to Salt Lake City. Even maybe Montreal. Montreal might get more fans out of those games. Hell, even Tampa will take a second team. But the last thing we need is Colorado Rockies acting like they care or even try. So just draft all the Shreveport. We'll move on.
Call it a day. We're almost ready to call it a day. We got to remind you that Sports Idiot Nation comes to you every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to follow us on all social media. And
Mayday! Mayday! Cover your brains, boys and girls. Put on your tinfoil hats because this is Idiot of the Week.
All right, you idiots and sinners, especially y'all in Nashville, sticking with college baseball. Shreveport thought they'd have company with one of the best teams in Division I, hoisting a trophy at the end of the year. But Vanderbilt, you got the number 1 overall seed, and yet again, you choke it away. This time in the most embarrassing fashion, in a way you don't want to, in NCAA history, becoming the first number 1 overall seed ever to not even make it to the regional final. They lose their second game to Louisville, and then last night you get embarrassed by the Wright State Raiders. Had a chance to come back at the end, down 5-1, and you lose 5-4. Unlucky on a ground rule double that had it hit the wall, you would have actually tied the game, but don't get yourself in that hole anyways, and don't lose in your regional anyways. You're the number 1 overall seed. You should be sweeping your regional, especially in a lackluster one like that with Louisville and Wright State. But instead, you are bounced. You are done. And, well, enjoy your summer classes, Vandy. You ain't no Shreveport. You are Idiot of the Week.
Eat it, Jay Cutler. Man, that is bad. Yeah, when teams are supposed to win and they don't, and it's like, you look at why, it's sometimes like, what are you doing?
What? If folks are saying that the SEC, the football, was overrated this year, they ain't got nothing on baseball right now. They are choking hard. Florida out. You got Georgia, top 8 seed, because remember, 8 teams make the College World Series. Top 8 seed supposed to be not only winning your regional after hosting it, supposed to be hosting the Super Regional too. They're out. Texas on the brink of elimination. And then also Vandy, number 1. They gone. They out. And more to come because you got a number of teams that tonight play in the SEC ball on the brink of elimination when they should already be done and sitting and chilling before next week in Super Regional. But here we are.
Yep.
SEC overrated.
Speaking of sitting and chilling, that is exactly what the Thunder and Pacers are doing. So this coming Thursday is game 1 of the NBA Finals. And so you and I will be back to really get into the nuts and bolts of the series between the Pacers and the Thunder and dive into reasons why it will be watched, why it won't be watched, the matchups to look for, and we'll really dive deep and dissect it. So hang out with us this coming Thursday as it's game 1 of the NBA Finals. Reminder, follow Sports Idiot Nation and follow some of the other guys from the Idiot Verse. We have Turtles, we got Puck, we got Devin from last week was racing. That was a really solid episode. That was really fun to talk through the Indy 500 and wrap that up. So be sure to follow everything. Reminder that we come out every Monday and Thursday with a fresh episode. So for Miles Behind Enemy Lines, it is I, Adam Marino, letting you know that we will see you Thursday.
Florida Panthers, Team America, baby.
Okay, all you sinners, follow Sports Idiot Nation on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, and remember, the most fun way to watch us is on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be updated when new content drops. Remember, the podcast can also be found on the usual suspects of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Always remember, don't be an idiot.
Sinner.